sending her forward, putting her right on the speed. Epic finish to the Everest. What a daring ride. Bella Nipotina wins the Everest. A thriller there at the end.
With Tim Gilbert and Julie Snook, this is Racing Dreams, the Everest.
Morning, morning, morning. We are just 1 week away from the Everest, the richest race on turf. Julie Snook is on assignment this week, but she will be with us trackside at Royal Randwick next week. We have a cracking show on the way. Let's take a look. Off the track and onto the course, I catch up with a very relaxed Zac Purton ahead of one of the biggest races of his career, the most talked about horse trial in Australia, as Ying Rising steps out and into the spotlight, and the rising star giving thousands of owners a piece of their own racing dream. It's a huge show on the way now. The fourth Saturday of the Everest Carnival heads to Rosehill Gardens today for Hill Stakes Day. That's where we find Brett Devine from the Australian Turf Club. Morning, Brett. How are you?
Yeah, good morning to you, Tim. Good morning to all the punters out there. I am wonderful, and what a magnificent day weather-wise we have here out at Rosehill Gardens. Great to be here this week. Give Randwick a week off as it prepares for the biggest show on turf next week. But it's a magnificent day here weather-wise, Tim, and we've got a sensational card of racing to go with it. Yeah,
absolutely. It is picture postcard perfect today at Rosehill Gardens. And what are we racing on?
Well, we're racing on a good four. Dave Morrison and the team have just had to make sure they put enough irrigation on it last night because of this warm weather and the big and the sunshine that's going to come out onto the track. So it's in a perfect condition for racing today. We've got some really big fields. Of course, the highlight is the Toyota Forklifts Group 2 Hill Stakes worth $2 million, and Chris Waller's got the favourite there with Lindemann. But some other amazing races on the card. The $1.5 million Alan Brown Stakes. We've got the Drinkwise Gloaming Stakes, a big field there. And, of course, the Tap Craig, which is named in honour of two legends of racing media in Johnny Tapp and Ian Craig. So right across the card, Tim, there's plenty of action and plenty of big fields on a perfect surface.
Yeah, now Mahuna knows Rosehill Gardens, Golden Slipper winner, favourite in the Group 2 Roman Consul.
Yeah, absolutely, and she's being ridden by Tommy Berry, who has been in white-hot form recently on not only this horse but several others. And he and Michael Friedman have struck up a great combination over the past few weeks to kick off this Everest Carnival. They've had feature race winners left, right and centre. So she bounced back from her Golden Slipper campaign to win first up here at Rosehill Gardens. She obviously loves this track and will be mighty hard to beat. So she's another attraction on the card today. And look, we've just had such a magnificent few days to begin the carnival, Tim. Some really outstanding racing, some close finishes, and of course we're building towards the biggest one of all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And look, between you and I, it's probably nearly 80 years of broadcast experience. That makes us a little old, but we're still doing it. The reason why I say that is because in that period, I don't think I've ever seen a trial day quite like we saw earlier in the week with Ying Rising, this Hong Kong superstar.
Yeah, quite extraordinary, quite extraordinary. I've been at the ATC for 12 years, never seen anything like it. There was more than 1,000 people turned up, rank and file punters and racing enthusiasts, just to have a look at this horse, have its barrier trial in Sydney. Of course, we're talking about Ying Rising, the world's highest rated sprinter, the odds-on favourite for the Tab Everest next week. And he is just creating an amazing buzz, not only here in Sydney, but right across the world. We've got media coming from right across the world next week to cover this horse. Plenty of them, of course, from Hong Kong and the Hong Kong Jockey Club, but from far-flung other areas as well. It's going to be like anything we've never seen. And of course, it's sold out, the Tab Everest, for the second year in a row and weeks early. So the only way to get to the Tab Everest now, if you don't already hold a ticket, is to become a member of the Australian Turf Club. We've got a special offer there on our website where the joining fee is waived. So they're just going to be packed in there, and the excitement levels will build and build this week. I had some people at the races I met last week in Betty and Evan and Shania. They had such a great time on their first day that they're going to become members of the ATC as well, God. I think. So the interest is just extraordinary, Tim, and it's only going to get bigger, as I say.
What do you think of the trial? Look, there's been so much speculation. Zac didn't touch him though, did he? Went out, he jumped well, stayed out wide. I know there's been some knocks from some people, but I tell you what, if they're finding something to knock there, they're looking hard.
Yeah, they are. And look, I spoke to the trainer, David Hayes, after that, and he pointed out a couple of things about that trial. He said once that horse finds the rail, because he was way out wide on the track, he said he's a completely different horse when he can get near the rail or find the rail. So that would be one thing. And for those that know a little bit about horses, they like to change their legs. When they start to get a little bit fatigued, they change the way they run and they lead with a different leg. Well, he never got the chance to do that on Monday at the trial. So, Tuesday was it, on the trial. But look, David Hayes was not fussed at all about, not worried about that trial. He said he can lead that field if he wants, and once he finds the rail, it could be a different horse. So he's having a gallop on Monday at Canterbury Park, which will be covered by the media. I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest in that. And look, he's ready. He's game on for him, and it's just up to Zac to push the buttons.
Yeah, and there's some other great race days on the way. Of course, we have the big dance. We've got the Golden Eagle, and all eyes on the Golden Eagle. We have a package coming up in the program today, Autumn Glow. Wow.
Well, she's the latest superstar of Australian racing, isn't she? And I heard on the way in here today, she's a $2.50 favourite in that race. Wow, that shows you how popular she is with punters, how rated she is. Of course, 6 from 6, unbeaten, and she is going to be one big draw card there for the Golden Eagle in a few weeks' time, which is going to be run at Royal Randwick for the first time as well. So great to be out at Rosehill Gardens here today. Then Randwick is on show for 3 or 4 Saturdays in a row. So it's all ahead of us, Tim. I think it's been the biggest Tab Everest Spring Carnival that I can ever remember, and it's only going to get, as I keep saying, bigger, because the Tab Everest and Ying Rising is going to be watched by tens of millions of people around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on you, Brett, and enjoy Rosehill Gardens today. If you could cry back a couple of Villies pies and send them my way, that would be lovely.
No problem at all. Thanks, Tim, and good luck to all the punters.
Brett Devine. Now, for a breakdown of the racing today, here's analyst Nick Burney.
Good morning, Tim. You're doing an outstanding job today. Flying solo, I must say, just like the weather here in Sydney, it's picture perfect. And can you believe it? Only 7 days to the Everest. But first, we've got to get through Hill Stakes Day, where it looks a great betting meeting. I think some of these favourites are awfully hard to beat. But with that said, there's definitely some value sprinkled throughout this meeting. I think the track's going to play fantastic. But my best bet, we have to go all the way to the last race. Race 10, number 3, Rosalind Star. I think he profiles so well for this race, and I think he's going to be awfully hard to beat. One of the best bets I'm going to have throughout this season here on Racing Dreams, and he's just been building towards a peak performance. I thought he was so brave in defeat this day. The horse to his outside, Monty Supreme, she's a mare in form. But just the thing I want to notice here is look at the margin to third. They ran very fast time against the day. And so when we have the time, we have the nice margin, that just confirms the quality of the race. He just ran such an improved race on dry ground. And all he has to do here is hold this effort to be winning. I think he's very, very likeable and clearly the best on the program. So that's race 10, number 3, Rosalind Star. We move to the next best on the program, and the slipper curse, it certainly wasn't there for race 4, number 8, Mahuna. She returned with a lot of style this day, and I thought it was such a confident ride by Tommy Berry. As you can see, he just travelled so well throughout the run. Yes, I know she had every possible chance stalking that slow speed, but I liked when the horse to her outside, Acacia, just sprinted up outside her. She just found straight away under pressure. She moved well, and I just liked how she went through the line full of energy. And you really delve into her sectionals, she can only improve off this effort. She goes out to the 1200 metres, where of course she won the Golden Slipper over that Rosehill 1200. She maps to have every possible chance. But the thing for me is she's so well weighted under the race conditions. So she actually gets weight of all the runners she beat this day. Too likeable for me. I think she's clearly one of the better bets on the program. That's race 4, number 8 in Mahuna. Now, my out wide tip today comes at Port Macquarie. We obviously had the Cup yesterday there at Port Macquarie, so we're in day 2 of their carnival, and my better bet there today at Port Macquarie comes up in race 2, which is the 8, Phaser Star. Now, you might look at her starting price here and go, wow, $81. Can she repeat a performance like this? But I think she can. And you have a look at all of her 3 runs this campaign. They've had merit. And she was wide this day. I know she had cover. She made a long, sustained sprint, and what I did like about her effort is she never shirked her task to the line. This is a very winnable maiden here today. She maps to have all possible favourites from that inside draw, and where a couple of her rivals here are first up, or maybe first or second up into their campaign. She's the one at optimal fitness. She's another one, a mare in form, and I'm happy to side with her as my out-wide tip today. Race 2, number 8, that is Phaser Star. So they're my best bets on the program, and obviously they're at Rosehill and Port Macquarie. So let's have a look at the graphic, and starting off with the best bet, which is race 10, number 3, Rosalind Star. So we do have to wait, but it might be just worth it. My next best is race 4, number 8 in Mahuna. And of course, the out wide bet, race 2, number 8 in Phaser Star. So they're my best bets for Saturday today. I hope you have a lovely weekend. You back a stack of winners. And Tim, I'm sure I'll see you on Tuesday night for the big one, the Everest Barrier Draw.
Good on you, Nick. Thank you so much, mate. The Everest, well, it had its naysayers, but in less than 10 years, it's become a Group 1 worth $20 million. This year, it's also a sellout. As we count down to this year's race, Jules caught up with the CEO of Racing New South Wales, Peter V'landys.
Well, Pete, here we are, just a week out from the 9th running of the Everest. Can you believe what this has become?
No, I can't believe it. It's exceeded all expectations. I mean, people thought it would last 1 or 2 years, and look, we're here on the 9th, and what about the big one next year, the 10th one? That'll be a monumental time, because Death rode it, and it's really changed racing in New South Wales for the better, but more importantly, it's brought young people back to the races. You know, the majority of our crowd's under the age of 35, and now they're frequenting year round, not just for the Everest, so it's been a game changer.
A sellout 2 weeks before as well. That is just incredible. This has become so much on the track, but also off the track now.
Absolutely, and again, it's all the young people under the age of 35 that are booking their tickets. You know, when I came into racing, Ticket Tech or buying tickets on Ticket Tech was never going to happen. You know, you came to the gate and you bought your ticket at the gate. So you never bought your tickets in advance because you'd wait till the day to see if it rained or what the weather was like. But now it's so popular that, as you say, we should be sold out by the time this goes to air, which is unheard of. You know, no race meeting I can remember has been sold out 2 years in a row, and this year it'll be 2 weeks before the event.
All clear from the back. They're racing. He was about first away, Ying Rising. He does it with the grace and poise of another great sprinter. He's the Usain Bolt of the equine world. He climbs mountains after mountains. The next one's the biggest in the world, the Everest.
You've got this international Ying Rising coming out that's bringing this whole new element as well. I don't think I recall a race that's had so much attention on it for so long.
We're going to announce next week how it's going to be covered throughout the world. It might be the biggest race ever, covered by more jurisdictions and more countries than any stage. So it's taken racing to another level, and to bring, you know, this Hong Kong champion over here and get all the Hong Kong people behind it as well, it's going to put us to another dimension, another level. And this race just doesn't cease to amaze me. As I said, it's exceeded all expectations, continuing breaking the records, and I'm sure it'll keep doing it for many years to come.
We've got the Golden Eagle here at Royal Randwick for the first time this year.
Yes, and we're going to have this promotion called the Golden Mingle.
I love this.
So basically, when you come onto the race course, you've got a choice of 3 badges. You've got a choice of a green badge, which means you're single, an amber badge, which means it's a bit complicated, and a red badge if you're taken. Now, we're going to leave them at the gate just in case some people that had red badges come back and go back to green, or for that matter, amber. So, but look, I think that's going to again get the attention of the young people. And look, the Golden Eagle is another race that for the future. You know, last year 11 of the horses that competed won Group 1 races. It's really attracting one of the best race fields and quality fields of any race in Australia. And I think after the Everest, this is going to be one of the real big races in 10 years' time.
We've also got a new precinct here at Royal Randwick this year, inspired by the Everest theme in base camp. That's really exciting.
It is. Look, and it's completely different, and it's going to hold 1,500 people. and it's already booked out for Everest. So unfortunately, it's already gone. But there will be other times, and it's unique. It's quite a different sort of facility, and it's got one of the most unbelievable views of the racecourse I've seen, because you're looking straight up the straight, and from each suite. It's unique, and it's base camp, so you got to get to base camp before you can get to the Everest.
We lead into this Everest. It is a week of activities, of hype, of buzz. What do you enjoy about the Everest?
Look, I enjoy every aspect, but the thing that I like about the Everest is the fact that young people have engaged in this race. That's what I like, and I don't get the kids ringing me. I get their parents that are ringing me looking for tickets. So it's going to, you know, it's a complete turnaround where the parents are ringing to make sure that their kids get tickets. And you know, the irony is 40% of our crowd comes from Victoria. So the young people of Victoria have also basically become engaged with, and that's good for all racing worldwide, Australia-wide, because if we can get them here, you know, from Victoria, well, the Victorian race clubs should be able to get them there as well.
So the message is sing it loud, sing it proud.
I've never seen anything like it on any race course, where even in the bars they're singing and dancing, and it's a real celebration, and it's great to see, because people are having a good time, and it's all about having a good time.
Racing Dreams is brought to you by Racing New South Wales and the Tab Everest, the world's richest race on turf.
Good to have your company this Saturday morning. Now, just a few weeks ago here on Racing Dreams, Zac Purton invited me out for a game of golf, and true to his word, he was here for under 48 hours this week, and in that time he rode Ying Rising in the trial, and he played 18 holes with me. Tough job, someone's got to do it. I took a cameraman along with me to the exquisite, oh, it is beautiful, the newly designed New South Wales Golf Club. Here it is.
Golf for me is somewhat therapeutic. It's a bit of a challenge and it's frustrating at times. But I enjoy getting out, having a walk around with my mates, hitting the ball. I love being outside, hear the birds, you're with nature. It's a great sport to play.
We don't play it for a living, and thankfully, it'd be the hardest sport.
It'd be hard living out of a suitcase and travelling as much as the guys do, but I wish I could hit the ball, 80% as well as they do.
Absolutely.
Good crowd is built up here at Randwick to have a close look at the Hong Kong champion, and we're all set now. There's the light. And they're racing. Well, he drew the outside gate, Ying Rising, and look at him go. He's come out running. Linebacker trialling well on the inside. 3 across the track. Overpass still in front. Ying Rising. Zac hasn't really let it go. Linebacker's pushing through on the inside and will beat the pair of them. And Ying Rising with Zac Purton, narrowly beaten but untested.
How good is this horse?
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? It's a big ask for us to travel from Hong Kong, where he's familiar with the track and the surface and the surroundings, to Australia, where he goes to an unfamiliar environment. He's got a new tie-up stall, he's got a grandstand. One thing that he's going to have that he doesn't have in Hong Kong is he's going to have a lot of people coming to his stall to see him. In Hong Kong, he's in his box, in his stable, and he walks over to race. And he doesn't really see too many people until he gets in the parade ring, but at Randwick in the tie-up stall, there's access for the public, there's access for the media, so there are going to be a lot of people going down there with their cameras, wanting to get a photo, wanting to get a selfie, wanting to see him in the flesh. So there's going to be a lot of action, so he's got to get used to that. And then we're coming to the backyard of the best sprinters in the world.
Lady Shenandoah is charging home, head ball. Jimmy takes the shot and won the All-Age Stakes. Briasa overpassed. Briasa won the TJ. She's different class, Jolly Star. Won the short by a length and a quarter.
Australia's renowned for their sprinters and their sprinter milers, and they're at the top of the tree for a reason, and we're coming to test ourselves against them. So it's not going to be an easy task, but we think physically we've got the right horse, mentally we think we've got the right horse. It's just a matter now of hoping, in these last couple of days that he continues to hold himself together well, and everything goes smoothly for him on race day.
David Hayes says he's the best horse he's ever trained, and he's had some amazing horses. Always look at Better Loosen Up and Jearn and many others, but you've ridden a lot of good horses. Is he the best?
What he's done in a short period of time has been exceptional, and he's sort of risen through the ranks very quickly, and his performances in the last 12 months have been as good as any sprinter that I've ridden. Now, if he can carry on doing that for another 1 to 2 seasons, then yeah, he puts himself right at the top of the tree for me with the horses I've ridden. He's an exceptional talent. He can do freakish things. He's got a really high cruising speed. Actually, the faster they go, the better his rhythm is. He feels like a Rolls Royce. He just gets into this lovely stride. He breathes well. He travels comfortably, and then he can accelerate off it. A lot of horses can't do that. They're struggling to go at that speed, and then they fall in a hole because they're exhausted. He laps that up, and then he can find off it. But he's got a really good brain. He's versatile. You can lead on him. You can sit outside the leader. You can be midfield. He stands in the gates well now. He jumps good. He does everything right. You want to go forward, he goes forward. You want to come back, he comes back. It's very hard to get that in a racehorse. We train them to run at their top flat out the whole time. So they're like a runaway train a lot of the times, and they can be a little bit uncontrollable, but he's very manageable. And I think he helps himself in many respects by being like that.
What's the jockey room like around on a day like Everest Day? Obviously you ride predominantly in Hong Kong, but you come in here and there's J-Mac and there's Tommy and is there a fair bit of sledging and heckling that goes on? You all love golf too.
No, we do. No, it's good. We have the camaraderie on and off the track, and we enjoy each other's company, and for me it's good to come back and see the guys because I don't get to see them too often. But it's all business once we get on the racetrack, and on the bigger days you can feel there's probably a little bit more ice in the room. The guys are really focused on what's ahead, and this week will be no different.
And you could have a massive Everest Day because you're on William Haggis's Lake Forest, who won the Golden Eagle last year and the King Charles this year.
Yeah, so he's an interesting runner because the form out of the Golden Eagle was probably the best form anywhere in the world last year. I think there were 10 Group 1 winners come out of that. He went back to the UK and he probably didn't go on to the heights that they were hoping he was going to. He's run some good races, but he comes back down here where he's been successful. Maybe he loves Australia, let's hope so. Willie Haggis certainly does. And let's see what he can get. It's going to be a really strong race. He needs to improve a little bit on what he's been showing up there, but Haggis's horses in Sydney are, they've got a pretty good record.
You're a fierce competitor on the horse. What about on the golf course? Are you fierce like your father-in-law Jimmy Cassidy? You turn your hat around when you have got a big putt?
I don't go to those lengths, no. I do enjoy my golf. I enjoy the banter that comes with it. I'm not as good as I'd like to be. I'm a bit of a hacker at the moment, but looking to get better.
He is always understated. If he's a hacker, I don't know what I am. Thank you so much to New South Wales Golf Club for having us, and Zac Purton, obviously, for giving us all that time. He's a champion, and I tell you what, it is all very exciting heading towards the Everest next week with Zac on board Ying Rising, now 1 week out from the world's richest race on turf. Shane O'Cass joins me in the studio. Morning, Shane.
Morning, Timmy. No, I just watched that package. What was the score? Did you play off scratch? Did he beat you by 4? Was it a...
Oh, we played as a team, and we did pretty well, actually. We did pretty well. So, yeah, we weren't playing for sheep stations, but we had a good time. Now, mate, the spring. Have you ever seen a trial quite like it? I was talking to Brett Devine, and I certainly haven't. He hasn't.
Well, I've never seen 1,000 people turn up to a barrier trial ever. But of course, we're talking about Ying Rising, the best horse in the world, the odds-on favourite for the Everest. We all know.
Here. What do you think?
Well, look, what I thought was that the horse did everything that he needed to do. I was talking to a champion jockey this week called Brent Thompson, who used to ride for Colin Hayes, and he said that a lot of people went to this trial thinking the horse would win by 6 or 7 lengths doing cartwheels, but that wasn't the order of the day. He didn't have to do that. So, look, he just had a look at Randwick. Zac kept him out wide, kept him out of trouble, and he never flicked the reins. He never used the whip. From all reports, David Hayes was happy with the trial. That's the main thing. Zac Purton said it was a pass mark. So, look, I mean, it's a barrier trial. He's got a $20 million race next Saturday. He will have a gallop, as Brett Devine pointed out earlier. Yeah, Monday. So he might get a bit more serious there. But, look, I don't know what all the red flags were that. I didn't see any, but other people did.
Does he deserve to be a short price favourite? John O'Shea said on radio this week he will improve going into the Everest, but he won't improve enough to win an Everest? He, of course, has got linebacker, and linebacker's not a sprinter, and linebacker won the trial.
Well, that's right. Look, John O'Shea's a great trainer. He's trained more Group 1s than I ever will. But look, the people in the inner circle were all happy, with the horse. And does he deserve to be $1.50? I think he probably should be. I mean, the market determines what price he is. But from my point of view,
the world pool's going to.
Look, I mean, the audience he's going to have in Hong Kong is massive. Just the people cheering him on. The whole of Hong Kong are watching. The whole of Asia's watching. The whole of the Northern Hemisphere. So when you think about the world pool, what it's going to happen is every single person in Hong Kong is going to back this horse. I mean, most people in Australia are going to back the horse. You wait for this build-up in the last week, Timmy. This horse is going to be on the front and back page. He'll lead the news. He will be huge. And when the people get to the races, they'll know that they're seeing the best horse in the world. I mean, so $1.50, he might start shorter. It depends where he draws. I mean, Tuesday night is just so important, this barrier draw, because, I don't think they want 1 and I don't think they want 12.
Yeah.
But, Zac and Brett mentioned before, if this horse can find the fence, it could be all over. So, he can find the fence from midfield, but you just don't want to see him draw 11,
Yeah, well, Julie's heading out to the barrier trial for us, and we'll do a full look next week because we're live at Royal Randwick. Now, Godolphin has selected Tempted as their runner.
Yeah, look, they had 3 choices there, I suppose. They could have picked Baywalk, Tempted, and also Tintris.
Were you surprised they didn't go with Baywalk?
Well, they want Baywalk for a race in Melbourne, the Coolmore, which is a stallion-making race, and he's a colt. Tempted, I get the impression what they like about Tempted is she can sprint off a fast pace. She doesn't quite get 1400, so obviously this is going to be a fast-paced race. And you can see her here when the her electric sprint at the end of it. This is what she can do. I mean, she does that against 3-year-olds. Whether she can do that against all comers, Ying Rising included, is another thing. But, Godolphin have always been very good at picking their horses. So strangely enough, when we've looked back, we look at Trekking and horses like that. The horses that we didn't give much of a chance to, but they run really well. Osborne Bulls. I mean, you wouldn't have thought Osborne Bulls.
I still remember when Tommy took it to the wide.
Incredible. So, they're pretty big brains trust there, and they know what their horses are capable of. So, yes, look, she deserves a place.
War Machine. For Coolmore?
Yeah, I think War Machine's a great pick. He ended up in the winter winning 2 Group 1s in a row. He went 121 in the Stradbroke for 1400, which is really quick. And then he came back last week in the Gilgai race, 1200 metre up the straight, and he ran 108. I mean, he's just in great nick, this horse. There he is there in the Rupert Lee colours that Chautauqua used to carry coming towards the outside fence. So he's just taken up from where he left off in the winter, which you don't often see them do. And Blake Shinn's going to ride the horse. Blake Shinn is a world-class jockey. You can just see Blake Shinn winning an Everest, and this horse has won 7 out of 14, and he runs time, and he's got a good turn of foot. If he can just sit off them maybe 3-4 lengths coming into the turn, there's no reason why he can't win. I mean, he's raced our way of going up in Queensland when he was there. You can see him in the middle of the track here. He just runs straight past these other horses. So yeah, look, he deserved his spot, and I think he'll run really well. One
of the real racing dreams heading to the Everest is the whole Mulberry racing story. Of course, we interviewed Lachlan Sheridan a number of weeks ago. Jetabil is their own horse, means Brad Whittup gets a start in the Everest for the first time. Jetabil's a capable horse.
He is. He's a real sort of tradesman-like horse. There's nothing sort of sexy about Jetabil, but what he does is he tries every time. And, you put him in a Group 1 and he'll try hard. You put him in a maiden, he'll try just to say. He runs the same race the whole time. I mean, now, admittedly, he's about 5 lengths off these sort of Briasas and Jimmy Stars at the moment. Here he's winning the challenge last time when he was really at his peak. But they're running really good times that he's been in, Timmy, and he's getting better with each run. I mean, he's a little bit older now, so perhaps it's taking Brad a little bit longer to get him up to his peak, but he's going to be in the Everest next Saturday, 3rd up, off a better run than he ran first up. He loves Randwick, he loves a firm track, and look, I just think it's a great story. I mean, Brad Whittup's a terrific guy. He's a young trainer in terms of that he hasn't been doing it for as long as some of his rival trainers, but he's a terrific fella. He's very understated. I think it'll be a big week for him and the owners. I mean, why wouldn't you run your own horse, Timmy?
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got one,
absolutely.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I would love to. I don't think I'm quite there. Now, let's talk about Magic Time, because we're going to talk about Graham Begg. You mentioned a dry track. There is some talk of a little bit of rain late in the week, which could change things.
Well, it's interesting. We're all looking at the markets now for a dry track. We've got $1.50 favourite. Magic Time is probably the wet tracker in the race. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's very adept on all sorts of surfaces. She can run on a good 3, but she's got great form when it gets heavy, and she's got great form in Sydney at Randwick. So look, I wouldn't be surprised, and it's not going to get to a heavy track, I mean, touch wood, but if we went that way, I mean, a horse like Magic Time's going to get a lot of support on the day. And look, personally, I mean, there's a lot of trainers I'd like to see win an Everest, but Graham Begg's, right up there because...
What about the historical nature of a Begg win?
Absolutely. Graham Begg used to train in Sydney. His father, Neville Begg, a living legend of the sport.
He had a winner in Melbourne the other day, Neville.
We talk of dynasties. The Beggs are dynasties. And, quite frankly, you wouldn't meet nicer people in the business than Mr. Begg and also Graham, his son. So, I'm glad they're a part of it, and I'd like to see them go really well.
Charmstone, there's one last piece to the puzzle. Will you long go with Charmstone?
Well, look, if Charmstone's not in the best 12 sprinters in Australia, I'll give up. So I couldn't imagine an Everest field without Charmstone. I'm pretty sure she'll get the last slot.
All right, just quickly, huge focus on Caulfield Guineas today. There's a few good horses in that race.
A few good horses. They're all from Sydney, which is great. So we've got Rivellino from Newcastle, Nepotism, the nephew of Black Caviar, and also Woden, the most polarising horse in Australian racing. He's either a champion or he's a dud. Well, today is the day that, will he do it again? But we said it 2 weeks ago, we said it 4 weeks ago. Today might be the day.
It may well be the day, Shano. It's always great to chat. Let's do it again next week. We'll be live at Royal Randwick.
Really looking forward to it.
This is Racing Dreams. Yeah, I can't believe it. 7 days to go. Coming up, we will talk to Graham Begg, and we've got a beautiful piece on the Autumn Glow. Don't go anywhere. See you soon. Great to have your company, and of course Julie Snook on assignment this week. Jules will be back with us for the Everest. We will be live at Royal Randwick. We're going to have a cracking show next week, but we are 1 week away, of course, from the $20 million Tab Everest. The field is taking shape with Auction House Inglis announcing their new selection in Magic Time. Trainer Graham Begg joins me now. Beggy, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, Tim.
7 days until the big one. How's the team feeling?
Oh, look, we're very happy. Magic Time left to go up to Sydney on Wednesday. She had a break at Albury for 7 or 8 hours, and then she trucked into Sydney on early hours of Thursday morning. Look, we're very, very happy. She settled in well. Look, she's accustomed to that situation going into Randwick. I think she's been up there about 3 or 4 times now over her career, and it's pretty easy for her. And she's very adaptable. As I said, she settles in well, and this has been the case this time round as well.
What did you think of the run in the Manikato?
Oh, look, we felt she ran very well. She drew an inside gate. She wasn't 100% happy down on the inside. She's got a little bit unbalanced, straightening up, but Michael D was very enthused, the way she found the line. She really only got balanced up the sort of last 150 metres of the race. And, we've set her up well. We weren't sure if she'd get an Everest slot, so we timed her preparation that she had gaps between her runs and, a nice 3 weeks break if she happened to get the invite to go to an Everest. So it's set up very well for her, and as I said, she's got into Sydney in one piece.
You must have thought she was in the mix. And look, a little bit of rain predicted. Obviously, you watched the forecast closely. A little bit of rain predicted later in the week. We mentioned it to Shane. She loves it when it's a little wet.
Yeah, look, it certainly won't do her chances any harm, but she's certainly got very good form on good to firm ground as well. She won a Rupert Clark here in Melbourne on that sort of ground, so it doesn't worry her, but that is her little bit of an advantage.
Now, yeah, absolutely. Ying Rising, so much anticipation, nearly 1,000 people at the trial during the week. What did you think of the trial? You've been around this game a long, long time. You know Randwick almost better than anybody. What did you think of the trial by Ying Rising?
Look, I thought he paraded very well. He was pretty big above himself a little bit. He had a bit of a sweat up. And obviously Zac sort of looked after him a bit, covered plenty of ground, and they were right out 3/4 of the way out in the middle of the track. So, look, I thought the horse went very well. Obviously, it's never easy when you're going into a new environment, and obviously, he's gone into quarantine at Canterbury and he's probably the only horse there. So, he may have been a little bit ring rusty, and a bit of competition in his barrier trial just top him off nicely. Obviously, he's certainly going to be the one to beat.
Royal Randwick, the Begg name, it is royalty at Randwick. Wouldn't this be something special as you, start from the 1200, you come around near where your stables were, of course, and your dad's still training. He trained one in Melbourne the other day.
Yeah, he owned a winner at Flemington last Saturday, de Bergerac. He's a pretty a decent horse, and his horse, the punter, should keep following on in the next season or two, but he's a very progressive horse.
All right, finally, Caulfield Guineas today. You've got a couple of real hopes, one in the Scalacci and Hot Pot in the 5th.
Yeah, we've got King's Effort going to the Weekend Hustler. He's a very progressive horse. He's got a very good record. 1400's really right in his sweet spot as far as distance range goes, and he's prepped up really well for this race. We expect him to be hard to beat. And Neonce, it's a very good race. The Scalacci, it's a Group 2, weight for age, but she's been track and distance winner at Caulfield, and she's coming off a luckless run in the Moya Stakes. She drew the outside gate and never sort of got any cover whatsoever. So she only got beaten just sort of a bit under 2.5 lengths, so she can certainly turn the form around.
I feel part of the Graham Begg team, having cleaned your stables a couple of years ago for a story. So I'll be there with you on Everest Day. All the very best with it. Always great to chat.
Looking forward to you coming back and doing a few more boxes, Tim.
More than happy to. More than happy to. You know me, Graham. I'll do anything. Take care, buddy.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Now, how good's Autumn Glow? Absolute superstar. Huge win in the Epsom to remain unbeaten, and now off to the Golden Eagle. I caught up with 2 racing people that know her intimately. John Freyer, the bloodstock agent for Arrowfield. Also Steve Grant from Silverdale Farm, who sold her as a weanling.
The star of the show, Autumn Glow, is the last to move in. She's 6 out of 6. This race 11 years ago was won by the Great Winks, and it was really the springboard to her magnificent career. There's the light, and we're ready to go. Racing now, and Autumn Glow began nicely from the wide draw.
Autumn Glow responding to pressure, and the mare hits the lead with Pericles into the clear. Autumn Glow gets a length and a half clear, and Autumn Glow remains unbeaten. She was born a winner. She's the real deal. Autumn Glow goes on to win her 7th race from as many starts, beating Fully Lit and Pericles.
She's really special. She's amazing. What she's done in her career so far is spectacular. And I think we're only starting to see the beginning of it. I mean, who knows where the ceiling is, but today was incredible. She did it a little bit hard, had to work across from the outside barrier, held them all off. She was coming away at the finish, and the sectional times were amazing. So, we'll probably be back here in 4 weeks' time for the Golden Eagle. But she's right up there with some of the greats, I think. I think she's going to really establish herself as, one of the special ones.
It's enormous, mate. For us, like a lot of people thought it was a fluke start when we got Fireburn in the first year. We backed up with Subterranean the next year, the Group 3. Horses like a Nisa, $1.1 million purchase who pays off her costs in the first year of racing. And then for Rob and Brian to select this filly, $600,000 as a weanling, it's not for the faint-hearted. But, our partner Ken Lowe, I say to everyone, it's all right for them. I've got to drive home with Ken now, who wanted to keep her, and we decided to sell her. So, yeah, of course, the $1.8 million sale was great, but to see her here now, the only sad part of the day, as I said to Lizzie, we may not turn out another one this good. She's incredible. If we haven't beaten her today, where do we go to from here?
I think what today showed is certainly she runs a strong mile. Will she run 2,000 metres? Probably, you would think so. This preparation, I would say a Golden Eagle's the most likely target, but Chris will decide that. And then probably go away and come back in the autumn for, a similar path to what Winks followed on several occasions. Get through to a George Ryder and then maybe a Queen Elizabeth, something like that. But he's great at managing these good horses and taking along slowly and getting a lot of the longevity out of it.
Cox Plate finally, possibly?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the boss would love to win a Cox Plate. That's high on the list. It'd be quite something. And I think Cox Plate next year would be certainly on the agenda.
You'd have to imagine that, with the way that Chris manages her, that she's capable of a lot of good things. Today, to have something like Fully Lit, and it was a great run from her. But when you're looking at those sort of times they're running, and she comes from the outside barrier and does that, gee whiz, she's going to be hard to beat no matter where she goes.
As her feats continue to grow, her father continues to grow.
Well, that's right. I mean, he's an incredible stallion.
It's Fundamentalist in front from Vega Days, Nikita Jane. The Autumn Sun is lifting late. Fundamentalist in front. The Autumn Sun's really surging. The outside. Yes. Oh, what a super win. The
He's had so many Group 1 winners already. This is another one today. We couldn't be prouder of him, and we're really confident about what the future holds for him as well.
What about the magic of horse racing?
It's just so uplifting. It's a great business. I had someone mention to me before that they got a small share. I said, don't mention you've got a small share. You only need to own 5%. You own the horse. And it's a great business. It's a great time. And it's just so rewarding.
Yeah, and that's it. You only need to own a little bit. We call ourselves racing dreams because they do come true, don't they?
Correct. 100%. The racing dream comes true. I do say that that 5% can get you into the game and have a great time. And you meet some wonderful, wonderful people.
Welcome back to Racing Dreams. Now, the Michael Freedman-trained filly Apocalyptic is putting on a show this spring. In just 4 starts, she's now won 2 Group 2s and a Group 1. Managing Director of My Racehorse, Ben Willis, joins me this morning. Apocalyptic by name, Apocalyptic by nature. What a win in the Flight Stakes, Benny.
Yeah, it was really exciting, Tim. Thanks for having me on. It's nice to have a filly like that, as you said, who can come out and win a couple of Group 2s and then culminate with a Group 1 this spring carnival at just her 4th start. So she's one the stable have always had and Tommy Berry a massive opinion of. And, yeah, she just keeps delivering on race day, which is pretty exciting to see.
You were at the track. Can you tell me what you were thinking at this point?
That point just there?
Yep.
Yeah, you just quickly go from 0 to 1,000 in terms of a state of euphoria. Like, it's pretty exciting, especially we had about 1,000 owners at the racetrack. We had 3 different horses running in Group 1s across the day at Ramwick last Saturday, and you get mobbed pretty quickly. And yeah, it's a really hard feeling to explain. Like, we wanted to launch My Racehorse to give everyone the opportunity to compete at the elite level, and you have this sort of moment happen and you see the smiles on all of our owners' faces, and, you know, we're obviously doing the job well, which is great. So there is actually no better feeling I've had in my life than seeing her come up, even when Tommy looked over his shoulder about here. It was pretty exciting.
And Michael Freedman, speechless. That doesn't happen often. And Tommy was just so excited as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael's had a huge opinion of this filly since, like, she was a yearling, just turned 2 and was starting to get into some early track work. And Tommy, the first day Tommy sat on her, I remember he got off and he was really kind of bullish about what her prospects looked like. And Michael and Tommy have both felt she was something special for quite some time. Her 2-year-old campaign obviously didn't go to plan. She had a nice run in December where she was really unlucky, and then she was trying to prep towards a golden slipper, but just kept getting, whether it was shin soreness, foot abscess, even mastitis. She had everything go wrong with her under the sun. So she's been a bit of a patient approach, but those two have been so confident from day dot that she had something special to give once she can finally get right and get to racing, and that's what she's delivering now. So they've got a really good eye for her.
Oh, absolutely. Now, she's the first to win the Furious T-Rose Flight Stakes treble since 2011, I think it is. I think that's that date. You've got 2,000 owners in this filly, which, as we always say, adds to the racing dream. It gives everyone an opportunity, and you know, I can't implore people enough to get involved. If you know, if an opportunity comes up to just jump in and buy a very small portion of a horse, it is absolutely magical. Now, I do want to ask you about the autumn, because it does look, she's still a baby, really. The autumn next year in Sydney could be real fertile ground.
Yeah, that's right. She'll go to the 1,000 guineas now as her final run for the spring prep down here in Melbourne. But coming back into the autumn, as you said there, the 3-year-old filly pattern of racing in Sydney is outstanding, and that's what we'll be targeting with her, whether that's, say, starting off in maybe a light fingers or a surround stakes, then going through to a Coolmore Classic or whatever else. She'll tell us where she's best suited and where she wants to go, and she's actually with no better stables. So it's exciting what she could be capable of, and if this is her first preparation, we can't wait to see what she can do in prep 2, 3, 4 and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, you're going to have a little bit more of a sedate Saturday this week at home on the couch, eating some Cheetos, but you do have a horse and a real chance at Rosehill today.
Yeah, we do, and you're right. I'm still recovering from last weekend. It was a big one. The hangover never really left me. We've got Willie Dewitt running in the Alan Brown Stakes, so he was a late scratching out of the Epsom. Probably about 5 minutes before Apocalyptic jumped, actually, I got the call from Kieran Maher and thought he was joking. But he's backed up, he's fine, and he'll run in the Alan Brown today over 1,400 metres. Be really excited to see how he goes. Really, if he comes through this run well, we'll probably push on towards a Golden Eagle or something like that with him 3 weeks' time. He's a funny horse. He won the New Zealand Derby, obviously, but a lot of the blood work that Kieran and his team do have actually came back showing that he might be more effective over a mile. So he could just have a bit of freakish ability about him, but we'll soon see today. I think he's a big chance at $8.
Yeah, absolutely right in it. And look, it's a good card today at Rosehill Gardens, and of course a big day at Caulfield. But the big focus is next Saturday with the Everest. It's sold out. We saw Ying Rising trial this week, so there's so much anticipation. Here's the trial again. Everyone's had an opinion, but horse racing, it's a magical game. As we say, get involved in syndication. Get just a little piece of a horse if you get the chance, because you'll love it. Ben, great to chat. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Tim, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day and good luck.
We will. All right, you enjoy the couch and watching the races, and of course a real chance today. Next week, next Saturday, we'll be live at Royal Randwick. Julie will be with me. We've got it all coming your way. Big thanks to Racing New South Wales who make this show possible, and racing dreams do come true. We'll see you next week. Take care.